How to build a brand on your terms. This is one of the key drivers behind why I deliver my branding program online. It's aimed at expert female business owners and leaders who have put in years of hard work to really become experts within their chosen field. But they are now at the point in their entrepreneurial adventure and career and that stage in their life where they're sick of this continuous compromise. They are ready for things to pay off for them now. They want to build something that is strictly on their terms, that fulfills the sort of life they want to lead, without compromise. Now, on this episode, I have 7 different reasons why you should consider applying to the next round of my program. I'm going to be revealing a few little secrets here, some behind the scenes news behind the way that this is developing. But most importantly, I want you to be able to make an informed decision about if this is right for you and your business. Let's get into it. If you've always wondered what goes on inside my branding program and if this is actually the right fit for you and your business and what you're looking to achieve right now, this episode is going to answer all of those questions. I'm going to be revealing some insider secrets about how the program is evolving as a whole, and I'm going to be sharing some exclusive new experimentations and developments that I want to create for this next cohort based on the last cohort that just completed. So by the end of this episode, you're going to have a crystal clear decision made on if this is right for you. Reason 1 is all about the limited beta pricing. Now, at the time of creating this episode and today when you're watching it, I've made the firm decision that I want to keep this program in a beta phase. And that's because behind the scenes, I've been reflecting on things. Instead of rushing ahead with this ultimate, perfect, glossy version of my program, which, if I'm perfectly honest with you, really suits my own tendencies of creative perfectionism, I've decided on reflection that I want to rail against that for my own development. I'm always trying to proactively embrace the notion that done is better than perfect. And I really wanted to push myself in outside of my comfort zone and be really authentic with you about me doing that. This is my adventure as a female business owner, and I think it's important that we all speak up more as women about this idea of feeling uncomfortable about putting ourselves out there. In short, it just didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel ethical to sell something as if it is fully optimized and at its most perfect state. Now, it's important for me to follow this up by telling you this program is still utterly amazeballs when you consider it all from an end user point of view. I feel that if I'm open and transparent about this, I actually might appeal to the type of business owner who has an adventurous spirit and soul. They want to be along for the journey with me as I'm creating this and putting it out there. And of course, you get all of the amazing benefits that we're talking about today of honing and developing a brand that is genuinely going to be way more on your terms. So as well as being open and honest and transparent about this, I decided I'm going to keep it at the beta price point that we've run it at before. So it might actually be that if you're not such an adventurous spirit, the fact that you're getting this for a crazy good bargain could be a big reason for you to apply. Reason number 2 is that we're now going live. I wanted to make so many jokes at this point about watching Saturday morning live television for kids here in the UK in the late 80s and 90s. I'll just say love to Gordon the Gopher. You know who you are. I'm going to be running this next cohort in a live style of delivery. This means that everything's going to be given at a fixed pace with a clear start, middle, and end point. And the key benefit behind all of that is it really helps you plan your time efficiently. If you know that you're one of those people who works much more effectively when you have a get it done factor in the mix, as opposed to the opportunity or potentially the excuse to tinker away with something with no fixed endpoint, then this is a massive reason for you to consider applying. I'm going to be running this next cohort from July all the way through to the end of August. If this is a really busy time for you in your business, or if you know that you've already got some non-negotiable commitments in your schedule, then joining this specific cohort might not actually be the right fit for you. If on the flip side, it's the other way around and actually the summer months are your quieter months in your business, or maybe if this is just the time of year that you like to take your foot off the accelerator and kind of slow your pace down, then joining this particular cohort might actually be a perfect fit for you. And if all of that has got you wondering about efficiency in a bigger context, and you're wondering, is it better use of my time to just get Laura to do her amazeballs thing on my brand without me getting involved and doing a bit of learning along the way, I really want to recommend that you check out this episode. This is where I talk about how long different types of brand strategy projects take. It might be a good one to watch if time is a big, important factor for you over other things that we're going to be covering today. I'll put a link to that below in the show notes and you can watch that episode next. Now, you might be watching this and thinking, oh, shucks, this is perfect for me, but not right now. If that's you, I really want you to go ahead and subscribe. When you subscribe, I'm going to be in your feed regularly, and you can stay up to date with the next version of the cohort and how things are developing, so that when it is the right time for you, you've got all the information you need. Reason 3 is around the 6 modules. You may or may not know this, but there are many different types of workflow and structure of work when you're working on branding strategy. I am more than sure that in your world, in your expertise and your chosen field, that you probably have something similar to this. So there's different ways of serving different clients with different needs in different ways and modalities. It's the same in my world, in the world of branding. And we do that to tailor things to what our customers and clients need, don't we? Having this particular flow of 6 modules structured in the way that I've structured them is very intentional. It's intentional for the type of person that I'm looking to join this next cohort. So if you're looking to build a brand and a business that is way more on your terms than it already has been, the way that I've curated these modules is to help with exactly that sort of transformation. I go into more detail on the structure side of things over on the application page. You can visit that. It's laurapearman.com/on-her-terms-apply. To be clear about this is not a branding program for someone who is about to start up or who has just started up their business. This is not a branding program with the right modules that you need to begin to get ready to sell your business. I can help you with those things, but not in this program. This particular program is strictly for the business owner who has been around for a while and is starting to get increasingly frustrated that the brand that she has started with is just not working for her. It's not letting her grow her business and build a life that she wants to live. What we get into in this particular program is finding out why that is. Then we do the work on really starting to refine things out so that your brand is precise. It's going to achieve exactly what you want to achieve in your life as well as professionally in your business. And the goal is that we do all of that much faster than if you try to do it yourself. Sometimes women have done this program and the outcome is laser focused clarity that now is the time for them to start becoming more visible. It has been a legitimate outcome for more than one of the women I've worked with on this program, where actually on completion of the 6 modules, the decision is clear that it's time to start saying no, thanks but no, to certain types of customers and clients so that the brand and the business can serve this type of clients. We've had a situation where the outcome from this is, oh, okay, now I need to get much more focus next on the operational structure of my business. And now that I know my brand what needs to go this way, it's time for me to tweak the way that I've set up my team. It's time for me to make sure that I invest in much more of efficient systems and processes that fulfill this vision. The overall goal then is to leave everyone I work with in the program with the confidence to make an informed decision. And you can only make an informed, logical decision when you've done the strategic legwork that is in these 6 modules. When this work has been completed, everyone who's been in the program feels a lot more empowered and confident about this next step decision making process. The other key benefit of my 6 module framework is that they flow together in a very specific order. This means that every single module is informed by the module or modules that preceded it. You're not just jumping into one area of branding and then leapfrogging to another willy-nilly. This logical flow tends to bring great comfort to all of the cohorts that I've worked with so far. It really does demystify the world of branding that is so often overly jumbled up and overly complicated and really misunderstood. Reason 4 is that you now need to apply. Now, I've invested in a few different types of programs for myself over the years. And one of the key things that, on reflection, I actually consider now is almost a non negotiable when I'm thinking about investing in a new program is that there is a very clear application process. Now, for me, this gives me confidence that the people who will end up in that cohort with me, if I make it through the application process, are of a certain quality. It's not just like any old Joe can get into this program. And I know that if I join a program, I'm going to be investing emotionally and socially with the people in there. So this helps me to think, yeah, okay, these people are probably at my level. That's why I've introduced this for this next round. One of the key areas of resistance that I've picked up in previous cohorts is the question, Laura, who else is in there though? And I fully get that on reflection, and it's making me think, why did I not do this earlier? But I think it can feel very triggering if you're worried that you're now going to get a little bit more open and vulnerable and transparent about your brand, or maybe some flaws and faults that you can see in your business, especially if you are worried that someone else in that group is going to be a direct competitor. And the addition of this application process is exactly what I need to make sure that you don't worry about that. The details that you put in on the application form gives me all of the information I need to make sure that the cohort I select to go through this round is complementary. I want to get the right mix of people so that there's no conflict of interest once we've got started. And the other factor there is I want to have a nice blend of networking and idea sharing. That gives you that nice little loving push to start thinking about your business and the way you see business in the minds of other experts, but people who are experts in totally different fields and industries to you. But you're doing all of that with that loving little push from me in a non-emotionally risky way. If you're feeling that you might want to take part in this, but you want to do it with one of your biz besties, then please go ahead and share this episode with them so they can get it straight from the horse's mouth about exactly what's involved and how it works. You can begin by holding each other to account on doing that application. And then once you're in the program, you've got that extra accountability and a little bit of like emotional buddy up support. Don't worry, there's a section in the application form to let me know who your biz buddy is. Reason number 5, meeting new people in this cohort. And this is a huge benefit. I'm sure it's not the first time you've read this quote from Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This idea suggests that the 5 people you spend the most time with creates a heavy bias in the way that you think and see the world. This is a huge opportunity for you to be proactive about the 5 people you spend more time around. So you're going to be in a position with other members of the cohort who are in the exact same position as you are when it comes to building a brand on your terms, but they're from different industries and different worlds. Joining together with people like this who have the exact same goal as you is going to change your outlook on how you get to that point. Now, this could be a huge reason to apply if you feel like right now you're surrounded by a bunch of negative Nancys who just don't get you, who are not on the same wavelength as you are, and who are kind of dragging you down when it comes to motivation and focus on what you know matters most. It's also a great way to make sure that you're in a posse of people who are at the same point as you. It can be incredibly stifling to surround yourself with people who are several steps behind you in their business journey. Yes, sure, it's reassuring to feel like the big fish, but you ain't growing, you're just, cruising. Similarly, on the flip side, if you're hanging out with people who are way ahead of you, you can be constantly prevented from making progress with this constant feeling that I'm the poor relation in my posse, or I'm never going to be as good as they are. And the imposter syndrome kind of takes over all of your ability to make any progress. Now, I've already shown you the link to apply. Let's just pop that back up on the screen now. And I'm going to keep that there for the next two big reasons I think you should consider applying. The application process takes a good 10 minutes to fill in. You might want to pause this now and schedule half an hour in your schedule before the deadline to apply, just to make sure that you do a really thorough job on applying. That deadline date is also on this link. Reason 6, experimental upgrades. This is a brand new exclusive experiment that I want to test in this next cohort. So this could be something that sticks around and is a permanent feature. It may be something that I do once and decide not to repeat. And I've decided to introduce this as a result of listening to previous alumni. I want to test to see if there's any particular stage of each of the modules that gives people huge feelings of resistance to the point where they'd much rather just outsource it. And when I say outsource, I mean give it to me and my team to do for you. So far, I've noticed there's a few trends, but the numbers of this are not weighted heavy enough for me to make a permanent change to the delivery style of the program. Let me give you some examples. So I had one lady who was utterly terrified at the idea and suggestion that she interviews people who have engaged with her brand to find out how she can do better in the way that she's delivering her brand. When I say she was terrified, I mean she was so terrified she almost quit the program. She didn't quit, I'm happy to report, but the whole experience got me wondering, is there more women out there like her who feel so much fear and resistance about finding out anything negative about their business and brand that feels like one of their kids? I want to test and see if this idea is true. I've had different women on other cohorts who felt blocked because they are so confident of their identity as an expert, well-qualified woman in this particular field, in this particular industry. Ipso facto, I'm not creative like you are, Laura. Now, when this has happened, we've overcome it. We've done the work that we needed to help these women. But it's got me wondering, often experts of that caliber are actually closeted creatives. They just haven't used their abilities on branding work before. But nevertheless, these different scenarios have got me thinking about what can I do to take away that painful resistance feeling as an optional extra, especially if that level of resistance is at such a high level, it would make someone out there feel like she couldn't apply in the first place. My goal here is also to test out how this optional extra might suit the business leader or owner who experiences regular sledgehammers to her schedule because she's so in demand. Adding this option to delegate some of the workload might be the thing that sells it for that particular female expert I'm talking about. It's all about creating that beautiful outcome of feeling less frazzled and stressed, but still being able to get the work done. And so we're adding this in. I am confident that I'll create an episode at some stage in the future to tell you about how this experiment goes. So make sure you stick around and I'll let you know. Reason 7, content creation accountability. You'll see on the application page when you head on over there that I've created an extra little bonus. And the bonus is for anyone who wants to be held accountable to create content to document their journey on the program. Previous alumni have told me that this was a massive deal for them. And I'll be honest, it didn't really cross my mind as a big bonus prior to talking to them about it, because I've been creating video content for such a long time. They've told me that the push, the loving push to create content to a fixed schedule with a fixed amount of direction from me was actually the extra push that they needed to just practice and get more confident about the whole world of video content creation. I had totally forgotten how much of a significant hurdle that can be, so I am incentivizing this with this extra little bonus. In short, if you're avoiding making videos in your business, even though you know making videos for your business is probably a really good idea, then this might be the little extra loving push you might need to apply to the On Her Terms branding program. I'm going to hold you to account to make a short series of brutally honest videos about your experience on the program. The idea is you then sign off which bits I can and can't share in my marketing material for future rounds. And as a thank you for doing this, there's a sneaky little bonus in the application process. If you've enjoyed going through the 7 reasons to apply for the next round of my On Her Terms branding program today, then I am willing to bet you're going to enjoy these episodes up next. I'll see you next time. Mwah. Now, before you go anywhere, don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.